It's Dr. Tennant's Verbal Highs. Let's start the show with Lewis Tennant. Here we go. Guests and interviews that you're looking for with creators, innovators, and so much more. For all episodes and further info, verbalhighs.com is the place to go.
All right, welcome to Dr. Tennant's Verbal Highs, a podcast podcasted weekly from a kitchen bench in Kingsland, Auckland, New Zealand. You should have heard the intro I just did for this week's episode. It was a blinder. It was an Oscar-winning intro, and then I looked down and I hadn't hit record. That's trying to do something when you're in a bit of a hurry to get out the door. A bit of a hurry to get out the door because it's Friday morning and have a busy day in the work life today. This being, if you're new here, this is a hobby of mine that thankfully over the last nearly a year a lot of people have come to regularly check in on and listen to and enjoy, and so I do it in the gaps between the other stuff. Originally tried to do an episode a week for a year, but 'tis time consuming, mainly finding guests at the moment. Up to 44, and the year-long anniversary is in just over 7 days, and I think realistically I'm not going to get 6 and 7 or 8 days, including the schmoozing, the fluffing, the recording, the chucking up online with possible very tiny edits. Most I've ever taken out is probably 40 seconds of each one. They are quite raw conversations. Anyway, we'll see how we go. We might end up aiming for 45. This is a hobby, folks. Get off my back. All right. It was a pleasure this week to talk to Bill Urale, probably most well known as King Kapisi, the rapper, but a man of many talents and projects. Currently, the vibe I got, stepping off the stage with a bit more regularity and into work with trying to inspire youth and get them on a path of doing something that they enjoy, that will hopefully as well kind of bear the fruits of life. We discussed that. We actually often with artists, I'll do pretty much a bio piece based around the art and the career. Starting from when it started to now. I didn't go down that route. We actually talked at length about two things. You know how they say you don't talk about politics and religion? Well, we talk about politics and religion. Bill, coming out as an atheist in his music in the 90s, quite a radical call at the time, and as he discusses even often now in the Samoan and Pacific community. Politics stuff, I can't remember. I think that's around the work he's doing. We sort of ended up trotting off into talking about the state of it all on the political front. But we also talked about Japanese toys, Millennium Falcons with Xboxes in them, Bill touring with the Harlem Globetrotters, basketball, both growing up on Onipu Road, Lyle Bay. Actually, I was in Kilburnie because I was on the corner of Endeavour Street and Onipu, and so the next house after me was Kilburnie, and then you crossed Onipu Road and you were in Lyle Bay. But I feel I grew up in Lyle Bay. What else? I'll see how many I can get up before the year-long anniversary, folks. It's looming large. But if I didn't mention it before, I'm busy. I've got nothing to soapbox about today. Life must be good. The media... information in the media hasn't depressed me too much, or I'm sure there's plenty of depressing and stuff to make me worry, but I won't do that for today. I'm going to head out into the sun, and I want you to enjoy this episode. If you could like the show on Facebook, it's Verbal Highs Podcast. On Twitter, it's at Verbal Highs. If you can like and rate the show on iTunes, that'd be fantabulous. Thanks once again to Bill. He has always agreed to do stuff I've asked him to do over the years, from recording ads when I worked at the radio station to coming up doing this, that and the other thing, which is great. Such a busy man with a profile and people asking him to do stuff. Nice guy. And a companion piece perhaps to the Te Moana Rapley episode, folks, which a lot of people really particularly enjoyed. Bill and Terry are husband and wife. And what we didn't mention in the podcast is congrats to them, because they, the King Kapisi, might make you feel a little bit old, children of the 90s, is a grandfather now. All right, enjoy the show.
This is Dr. Tennant's Verbal Highs.
Hang on a sec.
You get a lot more, engagement from Instagram and Facebook these days.
So you just take photos of everything you do all day?
Well, the difference is now that you can go to one.
Yeah.
And then that will send it to Tumblr, Facebook, and Twitter.
Is that what you do?
Yeah, bro. So you guess, because before you had to, back in the day, you had to go 1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't know if I'm.
You have to, bro.
I don't know if I'm as. I don't need to be as in the kind of it's a public eye as you. So I don't know if I need to post everything everywhere.
But you want it to be public, don't you?
Oh, the podcast.
Yeah, the podcast.
Yeah.
And that's the reason. That's the only reason why, bro. If you think of a brand, which you're making a brand of a podcast, you got to pump your brand.
Okay,
and
so to answer that question, no, I don't have a friggin' podcast tag for my Instagram.
Okay.
But for Facebook, it's Dr. Tennant's Verbal Highs, or you just look for Verbal Highs.
How do you spell that? Just Dr.
Space TENN. TENN. Is it coming up? No,
because so when you do Instagram, bro, it doesn't. You can't.
Just put Verbal Highs. Too long. Dr. Tennant's is too long. Just put Lewis Verbal Highs podcast.
No, bro. Dr. Tennant's, to make it proper, bro. Called Dr. Tennant's.
Yeah, Verbal Highs.
Verbal Highs.
Yeah. It is just Verbal Highs. The Dr. Tennant's is just a bit of an add-on. Like, trying to think of a brand that does that, like the same.
I have to do a podcast called Dr. Tennant's Verbal Highs with my bro, with my Wally bro.
With my Onipu Road, bro.
Yes. Wally Tennant. Onipu. Did you go to Urale Bay?
Yeah. I don't think you did, eh?
Nah, bro.
Well, no, what I mean, I don't think you did. I know you didn't, because I'd remember, because you would have been around the same time I was. Because you'd know, like, Elkanah.
Yeah.
Tom Bishop.
Yeah, and
Sean Tamo.
So those guys were the only dudes I knew from Urale Bay, other than Raw.
So they were all a year above me at school.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, but you went to...
Arlo, maybe.
Yeah, Arlo
it's
too.
Such a small world, eh?
And, do you remember Tafinga used to live down in Urale Bay too?
If they didn't go to Urale Bay, probably didn't.
So where the shops are, on Onipu Road...
In the middle?
Yeah, in the middle.
Oh, I had a video arcade there once, yep.
Yeah, bro. So behind that street, whatever that street was...
Oh, now you're testing me. The one the school was on, Freiburg Street? Palm Avenue?
No, so from Onipu Road, from the beach going Onipu Road, and you pass my house on 214 on the side, you keep on going, and then you hit the shops on your left. And the fish and chip shop was there, now there's that cafe
PK's
there.
Dairy on the other side?
Yeah, and on the left hand side you turn left.
Yeah.
And it's your first right. That Tafinga used to live on
I don't know,
street.
Far Street, Remu Street, there was all the numbers, I don't know.
Yeah, bro, and Tafinga lives in Miramar now, but he used to live in Urale Bay too. Bro, there's another dude acting like Lewis Tennant.
Oh, there's one in the UK, isn't that weird?
Yeah, Lewis Tennant, and we'll go New Zealand. Lewis Tennant, New Zealand.
Oh, that's my Twitter handle.
Oh no, that's good, because this will go.
This is the worst social media ever.
This will go to your Twitter. This will. So what happens, bruv? If you put in your Twitter name in Instagram, it will show up in Twitter.
Yeah.
But
did it come up as Lewis Tennant NZ?
No. But I'm putting it in, so it will show up on your Twitter.
My Twitter's changed to. I think my Twitter's Verbal Highs now.
Okay, bro. I'm just going to put it in so people know who you are. Okay?
Just put at Verbal Highs. One word.
Verbal Highs. People are going to be like, man, these guys there in there doing their verbal highs, what are they smoking?
Yeah. Nothing verbal. Okay, this isn't the most exciting intro. Yeah, so how come you didn't go to Urale Bay School if you were down that end of Onipu Road?
Because we moved to Lyle Bay from Island Bay when I was about, 12, 13.
Yeah. Oh, so the primary school was already done.
Yeah.
And so you'd already gone to Swiss, I take it, instead of Ibis?
Did you go to Swiss?
No, I went to Ibis.
Okay.
Ibis is much closer. I was at 87 Onipu Road.
Yes,
So we were there from, just me and my mum, were there from when I was 5 or 6 to when I finished uni.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you went to Rongotai and then Welly High.
Wellington High, then Rongotai. So
That's an odd way to do it. Most people spit the dummy on Rongotai and then...
Well, I was doing a bit differently, bro, because I had failed School C at Wellington High.
Too relaxed. Yeah.
So, well, I don't know about too relaxed. Well, I thought to myself that, you know, it was actually 2 years I was at Wellington High, fifth form.
Yeah.
So I had failed once or twice, I can't remember, to be honest. So went to Rongotai and failed another time there.
That's weird. Do you reckon you're like...
Third year, fifth.
But hang on, there's obviously no issue of intelligence there. Do you reckon you're like... Was it like, are you maybe slightly dyslexic or you were just real slack?
I think, I was just real slack. I mean, to be honest, bro.
Oh, you can't be dyslexic. You write rhymes. So.
Yeah. So, no, I was just really slack. And, you know, going from Wellington High to Rongotai, which was crazy because at Wellington High it was really like you didn't have to wear uniform, and you know, like
girls.
Yeah, bro. And the other thing too was the crazy thing about Wellington High was that you had such freedom.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we third form, fourth form, fifth form was just able to do whatever I wanted to do. So I was nearly a grown man. I thought I was a grown man. So by the time I got to Rongotai and it changed back to you jump when I say jump, boy, and I said no, I don't.
Yeah.
And you know, I was already
because you were that
16.
way inclined anyway. Plus, you'd been at Welly High.
Well, I took a couple of teachers to the principal, you know, and if I remember being at South Wellington and I took an art teacher to the principal. And because I was the son of a teacher who was like very outspoken, and you know, I was very outspoken too. So
did your mum teach at Swiss? No,
she was a teacher at South Wellington. Okay. So for years and years and years.
Rongatai's gone, from what I've heard now, because I guess, man, we were at the tail end, I reckon, of schools being really different to how they are now. We know that really disciplinary and da-da-da-da-da. But I've heard not only has Rongotai changed in that way, but they've actually got a really good art and drama department and stuff happening now, so it's not just sport-focused. Because I thought you would have fit in there, because as well as being creative, like you've always been quite good at sport. Yeah,
you know, like I was on that basketball court every break, every lunch, every morning.
That's why you failed School C.
And that's why... Well, the thing is, for me, brother, was the hardest thing was, you know, like I was good at English.
Yeah.
And because I like writing rhymes and I like telling stories, and so I passed English.
Yeah.
And maths was not too bad, but all the rest of it was, you know, music. When I sort of wagged school, I went to the music room, and our teacher was able to... He said, dude, if you're not going to go to class, I'd rather you stay on school, on the grounds. And so, you know, we'd go and just jam. And
is this WHS or Rongotai?
This is Wellington High.
So that would have been Mike Rose?
Yeah, Mr. Rose, and he was the bomb.
And the music department then, because like end of tomorrow's schools, I think we had like half an electric guitar, 2 parts of a drumstick. There wasn't much lying around, eh?
Well, just as you remember too, bro, because like... She Had was the rock group.
Yeah.
And so I was just happy to be introduced as a Samoan dude to music I'd never heard before, wasn't even like familiar with. So when John and Tom all introduced me, and Jeff Franklin introduced me to songs like For Whom the Bell Tolls, and that heavily got me into Metallica. And you know, we did the Big Day Out tour with them and was able to watch them continuously. And I was like, dude, I've been listening to your music since I was a young guy, you know, and I credit the Shehad Boys, because that's where they started, to my, you know, knowledge of growing and love of rock music.
Yeah. And so you must have been there. I just missed actually them being there. I think they left when I did. So you actually remember them performing at school?
Of course, bro. They were the rock band, and I was in the junior funk band, and there was a funk band that was, above me. So
as a drummer.
As the drummer and as the dude, I mean, like, I wasn't even rapping at that time.
Yeah.
I was just, like, into rap, but the reason why I got into hip-hop music or just rap music was because of the beats.
I better say who you are.
That's all good, bro.
My guest today is a multiple award-winning rapper, music producer, clothing designer, screen printer, record label founder, video director, television and radio presenter, and fellow Onipu Road native. He's played Glastonbury and toured with the Harlem Globetrotters. Welcome, Bill Urale, a.k.a. King Kapisi, a.k.a. Mr. Fug You, a.k.a. Mr. Majesty.
Hey, what's up, bro? Hey.
Is Mr. Majesty still a thing?
Yeah, Mr. Majesty is the persona on the side of the reggae styles. So
It's your Snoop Lion, right?
yeah, well, the thing is for me too, brothers. Like I don't know if maybe Snoop was doing dancehall or ragga as we call it back in the day, you know, and I've been doing that for a long time. And so other guys that were at that time was guys like Tuffy Culture. Asterix has always been the main dude when I was growing up doing the reggae dancehall thing. And so I've been always a massive fan of dancehall. So I've been doing it for over 20 years.
There's always been a lick of it in your music, eh?
Yeah, well, a lot of people didn't know that, you know, I was that way inclined into reggae. I mean, because knowing, you know, reggae's dope. I mean, that's like one of the best musics in styles in the world, and it's given birth to hip hop, to, you know, to drum and bass, to jungle, and just, you know, the dope music that I reckon is dope. So
it's crazy how that one little island is just so musically responsible for so much stuff, right?
Well,
there's something in Jamaica. There's something in the
it could be in the air. I'm not sure.
In the people, obviously.
Well, one of the beautiful things is like when I got off the plane, and you know, and it was a weird story. We got picked up in the taxi. Yeah. Looked at the dude, and I said, "How old are you?" He looks like he was 40, but he was 60, and his eyes were blazed. He's like blazed off. I said, "Excuse me, sir. You know, like I'm just a bit worried that we're going to make it to the hotel. Are you blazed?" And he goes, "Of course I am." And so my, you know, first dude that I meet in Jamaica happens to be blazed, and I was just so while we're driving along, and I said to him, I said, "Bro, is everyone blazed?" You know, and he goes, no. And so it was really interesting to find out after thinking of just having that most Jamaicans are blazed, and they're all reggae heads, but which was totally opposite, where they out of the 100% of religions in Jamaica, they're like 3%, and most Jamaicans frown upon Rastas and reggae dudes. I mean, I guess Rastafarians in Jamaica. So that was super interesting for me.
So you met the 3% that were blazed all the time, that were Rastas?
No, I just met the one taxi dude, and it was very, very interesting, bro. So we went there on a honeymoon, me and my wife, and we were able to have a week in Jamaica, then a week in New York. So that was our reggae slash hip hop honeymoon. So it was a dope experience.
We won't get bogged down with it here. Well, not bogged down, because it's a fucking amazing story, actually. But if you want to go back and listen to Teddy's episode, there's a much deeper connection to Jamaica, and
of course
in the family story. I wanted to ask before I go. I wanted to go back to when you first settled in New Zealand. But firstly, from my little intro, what was it like with the Harlem Globetrotters, man? They're like kind of they're almost like, to me, like they're fictional. They're such like a pop culture thing.
Yeah, it was an amazing thing, brother. I mean, like being a basketball head and being someone that's been watching them for forever.
Yeah.
And being able to get on the court with them. So I played 3 times against them, scored on them, you know, multiple times. And it's just, as a basketball dude.
Yeah.
My friend Shay Fu, like he came to the gig with his family. And he was like, bro, you know, me and my family were sitting there, and when you took the shot, we were just hoping it went in, you know. And so, you know,
big long 3-pointer.
Well, it was a 3-pointer too. Yeah, and because I'd been playing, you know, we'd been touring with him, and I practiced with him every day. Sort of, I was sort of used to just playing, so it was nothing. But everyone that was watching, they were just going, "Please, I hope it goes in." And so every shot I took, it went in, and I was like, "Yay!" But I was very relaxed
because you somehow ended up, you kind of were their chaperone, and you introduced them and stuff around New Zealand. Is that how it worked?
Yeah, we were working for the company that brought them over.
Yeah.
And we toured New Zealand, Australia, and we did that twice, I think. And so I was able to go around and introduce them to, you know, places in New Zealand and Australia. So I've, you know, since I've toured Australia for the last 20 years, it was very interesting, and we had some very interesting times. And I big up those dudes. And
the original 70s ones would be like retired and stuff now. Does it? I don't know enough about it. Does it keep? Is it new blood, like any other team? Do they keep recruiting new blood, Harlem Globetrotters?
Yeah,
so did you get taught any of the... what's the music?
I practiced, you know, while I was there, and, you know, learned some of the trick shots, you know, but it takes skill to do some of these things consistently, and some of the shots that they made, dude, I was like, what?
Can they play as well?
They can play.
Right.
And that's the difference. Like, people think like, oh, okay. But, because they do these shots so easily, it looks like, they just like, but, they're practicing those shots consistently. And you ask a normal person to shoot a 3-pointer from, a shot from halfway or from 3/4 of the way, it will take them a while. But these guys, after a while, once they're clicked on, they can just get shot after shot after shot. I was like, wow, do you reckon it's
obviously innate skill, but do you reckon it's just that 10,000 hour thing of just doing the same thing?
I think so, bro. It's like anything in, me, when I'm on, consistently make threes. But these guys are consistently making threes from halfway.
From
and further. And crazy shots, like for all the way full court shots. And, after a while you go, oh, yeah. Where you ask a normal person to do that. If you haven't trained ever to do that, you're not going to make it.
I wouldn't have the strength to even get it that far, let alone in the hoop. So, going back to... I did a bit of reading on you today, actually. Going back to... I thought you were born here, but it turns out you were born in Samoa.
No, I was born here.
Oh, then that's a shit bit of copy that I read in the... wherever I read that.
Whatever those guys, that's shit, mate.
Some website said Samoan born, raised in Wellington. Your folks came out here from the islands,
conceived in Samoa.
Okay.
And then about a month later, I was born.
So, no memory of living that first month there because you're inside someone. So, why did your folks come out? Just lots of people immigrating out at the time, or a particular kind of opportunity here?
I think what was cool and different about my parents was that my mum was very, very educated. She had gone to, through college, gone through university, and then ended up going to Teachers College.
Yeah.
And that's Teachers College in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So her...
She did that while you were growing up?
Yeah. My dad, and on the opposite side, and she could speak English, fine.
Yeah.
Very talkative person like myself, can get along in any type of, situation, where my dad was totally opposite.
Yeah.
He couldn't speak English. And even up until the time he passed, he couldn't really speak English.
Really?
So
I didn't realise that.
Yeah, and so he was a factory worker.
Yeah.
So, and Mum was the teacher, and so that was like, a real massive juxtapose. But they brought up a bunch of, and the other thing too, you got to remember is that my mum said to us, she said, "Listen, we're going to support you guys in whatever you do."
Yeah.
And while we were growing up, the Urale family was, we've ended up being a lot of artists.
Get to that.
We're just, artistic type of family, and within the Samoan world, we're probably the 0.1% of artistic families that are all artistic.
Yeah.
So it's not just one or not just two. It's not just three. There's like, out of us, 7, there's 6 of us that are artistic.
So was that ever tough on your old man, the difference between what him and your mum were doing, or it just worked and they got on with it?
Well, my dad was always on the buzz where, listen, you're teaching them how to be how to be balangis, how to be,
so you're losing you're moving away. That's a classic old man way of looking at things, eh?
It's a beautiful thing too, bro. It's when you're born in that situation, and me having travelled back to Samoa that many times, I have a village mentality.
Yeah.
So, I'm here to help the people. I'm here to, support the community. And if I eat, you're going to eat.
Yeah.
If I'm going to eat, everyone's going to eat. I don't just sit there and just eat my food by myself and have other people watch me.
So you don't have a honky mentality?
No, I don't have a yeah, hey, bro. Well, yes, brother. I do not have...
that's what you were trying to say.
But I've met Pākehā people that don't have that mentality.
No, that's right. But I know what you're saying.
So I can't put, just put you all in a...
So, what do you reckon you got from your old man then, if you reckon you got the chatty from your mum and stuff?
I think from my dad, it was just he was a very super hard worker.
Yeah.
Super. My parents were super hard working. For most of the time while I was, from 1 to 6 to 7, my dad would do the night shift, my mum would do the day shift, so they didn't really get to see each other, so they only got to see each other on the weekends.
Yeah.
So just understanding and watching my parents do that again and again and again, every year in, year out, paying the bills and supporting what we wanted to do, I You know, I just really, really respect them for what they do, and respect for any immigrant parents that come over from another place here to Aotearoa, and having to pick up the language, and also having to become part of the fabric of what Aotearoa has become, you know, or New Zealand has become. So
you're watching that Trump stuff with disgust and disbelief.
Yeah, bro. I mean, like, that guy's a dick. I mean, totally, you know, and it's amazing that...
it's amazing he's still going.
Well, you know, I'm amazed that someone hasn't gone and, you know, some sniper dude hasn't gone, and this is just me, you know, talking honestly, you know, with the amount of guns over there in America and the amount of shootings, why someone just doesn't randomly point one towards his way.
I've thought about that too.
Oh, bro.
But then you look at the Kennedy thing, and how loose things were back then. Like, I've watched that footage a bit recently. I read something and ended up on like a YouTube wormhole. And just the open car back then. Just imagine that these days. Imagine an open top car with Trump sitting in it. I think what you think of you like it would probably be in the first few days.
Yeah, I'm amazed at, you know, like, you know, how many 59, and there's just another bunch of people that just got killed.
Yeah.
But following their history all the way back to their amendments and those things back in the day, like, you know, from when they had first settled, and those are the rights to be able to bear arms, and I understand that, and that's their lifestyle, and I'm just really glad that hasn't come to the South Pacific, and I hope that never ever comes here. You know, like, I don't think it will.
No, I've joked about that. Imagine like Courtney Place or the bottom of Queen Street on 2 a.m. on Saturday with guns.
That will be shocking, you know, and it wouldn't be good. There'll be a lot of dead people.
Yeah. So we got there because I was talking about, you know, the hard-working immigrant thing, which you talked about. That's the bit. One of the things that's most pissed me off about what he said is the attitude towards who immigrants are, whether they're illegal or not. Back to you guys in the hard work thing. Yeah, when Teddy came over, I joked to her after I read her bio and stuff. I was like, I hope you guys rest sometimes. You know, I hope you, I don't know how you guys fit as much as you do into days and weeks, and
well, you know,
you just get the downtime when you can.
Well, that's the thing, brother. It's like, you know, when you're growing up, you got shitloads of downtime.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're just a rapper and you don't do jack.
Yeah.
You just sit there and write your rhymes, and then that's all. And that's...
wear your backpack on.
Yeah,
put your
you know, that was... backpacker was a little bit later, you know, but... That's just how it was. You just used to not have to worry about shit. You just sat back, open up your book, you know.
I don't know, man. I think you had that work ethic back then. I mean, how did you?
I'm very, very. What's the word? I'm lucky, bro. I'm you know, okay. Even though I've, you know, the reason why I say I'm lucky is because I've seen some of my peers and they haven't done as well. And not saying that...
And they've put in... I know what you're saying. They've put in the same... I
don't know about the same effort. Yeah. But you know what I mean? But I'm a nice dude.
Yeah.
And not that means jack anyhow.
I think it does, especially in that industry.
It's I don't know. Because I'm super passionate about it, brother. And I lost my love for music, making music, maybe a couple of years ago. But now I've got it back. Yeah. Now I've got it back.
I wonder what happened with that album. I watched the trail of dates through we'll talk about that later, because it's coming out end of this year, eh?
Well, no, Shivers, we don't know. We're working on 4 albums all at the same time.
Okay.
And you know, and there's missions and multiple missions.
How come when you first came in, you said, so you're making beats? Did you see that, or...
Oh no, because my mate just gave me one of those machines too. I'm hoping to get a month off over December, January, and I want at least half of it just to be getting up like that's a job, and just trying to figure it out and get some stuff happening. I'm going to do exactly the same thing, bro. It's like instead of being the laundry guy and also the guy who makes you know, dinners and all of that type of thing, but that's just life, bro. And you know, it's what do they call it? Adulting. It's adulting, man. You need time to be able to make albums, and I've made 3. I'm working on the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Are they all King Kapisi albums in a row? Well, no. There's Ted Moana's album, and there's my son's and my niece and nephew's group called Hush Little Pharaoh, and there's 2 King Kapisi hip hop albums, and there's 1 reggae Mr. Majesty one. So it's a mission, but that's just the music stuff. So how would you describe your son's style? It's in the hip hop realm. He's a rapper. Or is it kind of grimy? Raps a little bit. He raps a little bit, but he's a producer. And so what are you doing to produce his... So producer means different things to different people these days. So he makes the beats. And then what's your part in it? So mine was... Like I said to my son, son, do you want me to be the harsh record dude, or do you want me to be dad? And then after, process, and because I know that process very well, they obviously don't. Yeah. So I've had to go to them and say, listen, okay, where's the tracks? Where's the recording? Do you guys have a release date? All that type of thing, just the normal stuff, so we can make a plan.
So you're more like a producer in an organisational get your shit together capacity while he's making the beats.
Yes, because my son, he puts out beats regularly, like every 2, 3,
got a good
4,
following?
5. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
and but he's very regular on his beats. He's creating consistently, and but it's a process. And for me to be able to actually say to them, "Get your shit together," I end up being dad. And I don't want to be that.
Yeah.
And I asked them, I said, do you want me to be dad, or do you want me to be... This is to my nephew and nieces as well. And they were like, no, Uncle, just be, And so because I shoot music videos already, so, I've already shot them a music video, gave it to one of them because they're a editor.
Yeah.
And the other one sort of does graphics. And my son, they have multiple skills. But then I said, okay, how long has it been to finish this one track and this one music video? So you know what I mean, it's a process. And for us to be able to consistently do it, I said, let's just finish one and see how long that took, instead of 6-7 months. And then the next one, we'll try and get it down to 5 months.
Because 12 tracks on an album, 7 months, that's 84 months. That's a lot of years.
Well, that's a long time, my man, and it's exactly the same with me too, bro. And the one thing that I find, just music-wise, it's lonely. You know what I mean? If you've gone through the whole process of number 1 album, number 2 album, number 3 album, it's mostly the relationship that you have with the dude that's producing the album. Yeah. So, and then having to force yourself to get up every morning and write a rhyme, and it's like going to work, blah, blah, blah. But if, hopefully through album to album, you get better at this whole process. But at the same time, you're still having to live life.
Yeah, and run all your other all the other pies and fingers and stuff, your community work and your other business stuff. And
bro,
the last album was I hope I got this right. It was like 2005, and so you've released a bunch of singles and EPs and stuff and videos and so on since then. Do you reckon another thing is like that? There's not as much of a raw need for albums these days, kind of. Music business wise, because what I mean is the carrot that would have used to have been dangled in front of you, and obviously this isn't the reason that you do it, but it's got to be part of it. Is sales kind of help you, whereas you don't sell albums these days. Not you. I mean everyone.
Well, the thing is, these days I think that it's changed a whole lot. From even 10 years ago, where basically but it still is a little bit the same, where when you finish an album, it's a mission, and I celebrate anyone that's having an album release.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean? Because I say, good on you, mate. You've gone through that whole situation. You've given birth, and it's taken a long time, and it's through the heartaches, through the good times and the bad times and all the shit times that people don't see, and the struggles that you go through just to finish that. And so I think it's a beautiful thing that still we can still celebrate an album being completed, but these days you can still make a living just off releasing singles. So it's not the big must that you should have to release an album.
So singles still sell even though everything's on Spotify now.
No, I don't think shivers. No, it's on the buzzword, bro, that you've got to release stuff to be able to promote, and that's how you get the gigs, where most artists these days will still make their money off live gigs.
It's kind of gone back to the 1950s and 60s. People, that's how it used to be, man. Live shows first. The music sales buzz was after that.
Well, I've seen so many cats that they jump on and, you listen to their tracks while they're playing live, and you go, oh my gosh, they sound nothing like the track. Where I think it's an art. And it's an art that's been lost, where I go, well, it's just how it is.
Do you like your albums to sort of progress and change, or, be quite significantly different each time, or is it more like the kind of the Gangstar thing where they're dope but they kind of made the same album over and over and over for years,
But they play in their lane though, and that's the Gangstar lane.
There's no just a Gangstar. Don't get me wrong, I love them.
But for me, no,
but I'm saying
I
for
get
you,
bored.
do you like to revolve and
Yeah, bro. Because I'm probably the only hip hop artist that will put a reggae on their song on their album, and people or
put the Mint Chicks on a. Didn't you have the Mint Chicks?
Yeah,
on
Mint Chicks. It was on a track that I did called Superhuman.
Yeah,
and that was a dope track. And it's because, as you get bored, the funny thing is for me in hip-hop these days, the stuff that we used to make 20 years ago is the stuff they're making now. And I'm like, wow, it took... What I mean is the boom bap...
Yeah, it's come back, huh?
It's come back.
Yeah.
But back in the day, when there was just a few of us that loved that stuff, where now the majority of hip hop cats. But I'm talking about the mumble rap. I don't really, even though that's in the hip hop category, I don't really put that into anything that I dig. There's some of it I like.
Yeah.
But the hardcore stuff that we were doing, that cats were like, "Oh, dude, that's just too hard." Where now it's normal.
So it's coming back. I'm a little out of the loop. I thought it was still all that sort of like dranky, mumble rappy.
Yeah, but the boom bap is like, it's like the boom bap has come back. I think is not stronger, but it's more accepted.
When KRS came out, had you met him before or seen him before? I thought that was pretty special for New Zealand when it happened a few years ago.
Dude, we've been waiting for that dude for years.
How was that?
Forever.
How was that seminar the next day? That was just on top of the gig. I was just like, it was mind blowing.
I mean, for a hip hop god it's like a rap god to come out to New Zealand and to spend time, I thought that was really special.
For someone who's scared of flying, to take a boat all the way to New Zealand.
That's the only way that he travels.
Yeah,
that's the only way he travels
with his family and so on.
On a cruise ship.
On a cruise
ship. Good on him, bro.
Yeah.
And he's got to do that more often. He's never caught planes anywhere. And he's just done the cruise ship.
Did you go out to the Marae with him and DLT and stuff?
I did. So I was one of the dudes that stood next to him. We were welcomed on, and I was with him. I was one of the guys that had to do our whaikorero to the the people up there on the marae, and it was a beautiful thing, and shivers. There's so many different aspects we can talk about that whole trip. Where
just tell me anything that I wouldn't.
I mean, shivers.
I was just an audience member, bro.
I mean, being able to introduce him to the hongi and to the Māori culture and to South Pacific culture was a beautiful thing, because he'd never seen it. And as a person that's been listening to him and studying him for years, to be able to just go, "Hey, dude, far out, man. We're like, for real, we love your, we love you." You know what I mean? And on the same buzz, I also understand that being a person that is, people have said that to me before, sometimes it's very hard to be able to figure out who's being real or who's being truthful. Where all I could say, dude, is just like, for real, we're not trying to, kiss your ass or anything, but we really respect what you do and what you've done for hip hop, and you are a spokesman and someone that we can actually say, you're like our professor, you're like our dude, our pastor, of hip hop and of rap, and also as an MC. From an MC point, it's different from a DJ or from a producer, because I'm an MC and he's one of the top 5 MCs in the world ever for me. Yeah. And having studied his style and him still being active and still being the man, and like, he battles. I love that. It's we can have a battle, but then have a hug after, shake hands and go cool. But still, rap music is very, it's still very competitive, and so is breakdancing. Any battle is, and that's what battling is. And I love that he can still battle and still slay cats. And and that's the one thing. It's, you never lose your love, or I haven't lost my love for battling or just testing MCs and seeing how good they are, because it also tests how good I am.
Because the kids don't really, it isn't really a battle scene now, with younger
There's
cats.
A whole battle scene, bro.
Is there in New Zealand?
There's a thing, they write writtens. It's called 1 ounce. And it's something that has been going. It's a format that you write 3 verses, and then you go up to the other dude, and you don't have a microphone, and you spit at each other. But which is a lot different for me, because these guys are not coming off the top of the dome, which they're not freestyling. But sometimes
they're not freestyling.
They're not freestyling. It's writtens.
It's written. Oh yeah. So it's about the delivery rather than the. Okay.
It's more about the punchlines.
But then I've heard a lot of freestyles back in the day. You go, come on, that is kind of written.
Yeah, no, but there's some dudes.
No, there is some dudes.
There's some dudes
Super
like, Freestyle Fellowship.
Yourself.
Freestyle Fellowship is like, oh, dude, they were like off the. Oh my gosh, they were like, oh my god, interdimensional type dudes. Because when you hear the good cats, you go, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I wonder whatever happened to Supernet. The guy was basically trying to learn. He was still trying to learn the whole dictionary. He was trying to learn the whole dictionary. I love that doco about him.
Oh, who's the other dude? Was like him, and he battled Juice.
Yeah.
And Juice, I watched this other thing on Vlad TV the other day. Juice was killing it and still killing it. And he's one of the guys that makes his rhymes sound like it's a written where it's not. So
you're getting older when things start to come back around for a second or a third time. So there we go. We've got boom bap and a freestyle scene back in effect. So one thing at the controversial end of things with the, with hip hop, I wanted to ask you about is because I know you kind of affiliated with the Zulu Nation and stuff. What do you think about all this stuff about what's come out about BAM? Do you reckon it's all unfounded, or?
Well, for me, bro, I had to say
Because even the way KRS reacted kind of weirded me out, you know.
Well, having released, I mean, not released, but having read how KRS come to his conclusion, when I read, because I didn't really check it out until maybe about a month and a half ago, I actually read.
What was KRS's one conclusion? So for people who don't know, so Afrika Bambaataa got accused. It's been said at this stage of basically molestation, basically interfering with young people. KRS One's response was.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But if you read up on it, I thought, that's his outlook on what he thinks.
Yeah. And
so being a person that respects everyone's, if that's your buzz, that's your buzz. And he was just saying that, I can't remember exactly, but he was just on the buzz where if BAM, that's, I can't remember how he worded it though. But I understood how he felt. I was okay, that's, it's like he sort of put it in a hip-hop sort of way that he said, if that's someone that's, no, actually, I wouldn't even.
I just realised I've sort of probably put you on the spot trying to get you to comment.
I don't want to comment and then I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But on the whole buzz with BAM, I said, well, the reason why I joined the Zulu Nation, this is just me personally, I joined the Zulu Nation because I took the word Zulu Nation out. And I put the word hip hop there.
Hip hop nation.
Just hip hop. Just hip hop. Hip hop in general. So when I started, in the hip hop thing, I was like 8, started breakdancing. So that's what I had to do. And I said, there were a couple of rules within the Zulu Nation that were a bit like askew for me. They were like, oh, you can't eat pork. I said, well, that takes up most Pacific Islanders out in that one. And so there's other rules. You can't eat, tomato sauce. And I was like, dude. What am I going to eat with my chips? You know what I mean? So there was some stuff, but I just kept on putting the love and the effort and the work that I've done for hip hop, just hip hop in general. So I just said, listen, if these guys represent hip hop and I represent hip hop too, and the work that we've gone to teach breaking, DJing, b-boying, MCing around the world, and just basically to the community, because it gave me mad focus. And I was like, well, it can give me mad focus. Well, obviously, hopefully it can help give others in the community and the country mad focus too. So just like how I feel about basketball. It's the same with basketball, hip-hop's in the same area. So
hip-hop's got a like, not redemptive, wrong word, it's got a motivating or like directional or like you know the words I'm trying to get at.
It's taking me around the world. It's taking me around the world through the love of music and for a love of hip hop. It's been able to let me see places that I've never seen before. And I've performed at some amazing places and met some amazing people through hip hop music. So
I read somewhere today. This is the second time I'm going to quote something. You probably say, "No, that's wrong."
You're a quoting dude, aren't you?
It's only two. It's only two. But I'd never thought about it this way. You said something like, I've travelled to places where I'm probably like, I probably was the first or second ever Pacific Islander to travel there,
Yes.
I didn't realise that, I didn't really thought about things like that. That's quite nuts, eh?
Samoan hip-hop music.
Yeah.
And so, I've been spreading it's been my moniker, Samoan hip-hop, music worldwide. And so it's been my mission. Yeah. And I also put the South Pacific on my back when I'm out there. And we've met rappers that are South Pacific that also live in LA, in different places.
Is that all the Hawaii kind of connection? Not from.
The crazy thing was that from Samoa, when we were younger, when my parents and maybe the generation back, when they left Samoa up here, there was only 2 places you could go. It was either to Auckland or to LA.
Yeah, really?
So most Samoans either came to Auckland and then they spread out down through Aotearoa, all around Aotearoa, or else they went to LA. And then from LA they spread out to Utah, they spread out to Seattle, all of those other places. So those are the strongholds for where Samoans are at.
Really? So there's many, what's the word, diaspora in LA as there is in Auckland. Crazy.
It's Samoans galore over there, bro, and it's crazy. It's like... it's a weird thing. And going back to that thing where my dad was talking about us, becoming more Palangi sort of minded. Our Samoan crew and family over there have become more American minded.
Oh, totally.
So it's that just happens to be where you end up living or growing up.
So talk about the community work side of things, man. Like you're doing a lot of, like you're mentioning this thing in Mangere tomorrow. You've started doing a lot of kind of like work to get youth kind of focused and stuff, motivated, interested. How'd that come about?
Well, for me, bro, it's like it's because I give a damn. You know, if I was being harsh, because I give a FUCK. That's hashtag because I care. And there are a lot of artists, there are a lot of human beings, there are a lot of adults that don't. Yeah. But I understand that also because, a lot of people are just focused on, I'm just going to go get my bread. Or
just trying to get by.
Yeah, we're just trying to get by.
Yeah.
But me, like I'm saying before, being village-orientated and village-minded, is that I'm here to feed others and help others other than just myself.
Yeah.
And so, most Pacific Island families, you have a larger family, and because I travel Aotearoa a lot, and I see a lot of problems that are happening up and down the country between not just for Samoans, but for Māori, for Palangis, for everyone.
We're talking basically poverty and stuff here, eh?
Yeah, bro. It's like
you reckon it's got worse in the last 10 years since that?
Well, I think so, bro. You can go down, the middle of Queen Street, and we've got 5
crazy, dude. I'm down there most days for work. It's like it's really
with their blankets.
It's confronting,
outside.
Man. It's like it's like, I don't mean confronting like they're confronting like scary. It's confronting like how have we got here?
Yeah.
How have we got here?
Of course, bro.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I keep on saying is that we can be business minded, and that's very, very a part of what we need. But man, the community minded stuff has gone out the door. And I keep on asking politicians, it's like, because I've done work with Kim.com and the Internet Party, I always ask people or politicians that I meet, it's like, dude, how can you go in with a good heart?
Yeah.
And then, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years later, you end up talking shit.
Well, what do they say?
Well, they're like, yes,
Have you actually said that to politicians?
Oh, I have, bro, because I'm very straight up. And I say, dude, and like... I said that to the whole Labour Party, and I said, guys, how answer me this? How is it? Because we're all in one room, ready to go, and they all laughed. They were like, "Dude, you're very honest." I said, "No, I asked."
What was this at? Was this recently?
No, it was a while back. Yeah. So I was part of. They used my song "Stand" for the Labour Party, getting together, and that was the song that they used for the Labour Party. So,
and you sat in the room and said, how come you guys start off all good and then you get corrupt?
No, I just said, basically, how do you end up... Yeah, but sort of. But, and I said, you guys, you're like me. You're just like me. We're just normal people. But when you get into the system, you end up talking shit. And they were like, well, that's just how it goes, And I said, well, I understand that, but where does your integrity go, But then talking to more of them, it's just that they have to make deals with this person, they have to make deals with that person, and sort of the integrity goes out the door. And I was like going, and I understand that, but that's not my buzz. And I said, well, you guys just do your buzz, and I'm just going to be me over here. I'm going to be the conscious rapper over here that gives a damn about the people.
So what do you reckon this time around? I think things that I've actually been surprised how quickly a lot of stuff's getting changed. It seems like this new government's really kind of shaking the. How are we not talking politics? This new government's really quite quickly shaking the rug, huh? No. Well, actually, Teddy, you both work down in South Auckland with. So you have a different perspective than me sitting here in Kingsland, all comfortable.
Well, the funny thing is that I keep on saying to everyone, you can go. I've been doing work out in the South. South Auckland for a while. You can spend a day there, and you might not see a Pākehā person. You might not see a white person. And so I go, how do Pacific Islanders or brown kids or whichever nationality they are, how do they get to interact with white people when they don't know any? And I go, shit, that's a question, you know what I mean? And I go, because I grew up in Island Bay, Lyle Bay, and there's heaps of...
Wellington.
You have a lot of different nationalities. Yeah. But in South Auckland, it's one of the problems that I see, that the people or power that these kids see will be the principal, the policeman, and maybe the businessman.
Oh, that's the only white people they see.
That's the only white people they see.
Okay.
So I go, and being a person.
So it's always set up as the other. It's always going to be set up as the other. Each.
Well, the weird thing is, like, I live central, and I've lived central since I've moved here from Wellington. But you come out here and you don't see no brown people. And I go, okay, hold up. You go to Mount Eden, Countdown, and then the other, it's the total opposite. And I go, wow, there's no brown people out here.
Oh my God.
And you know what I mean? But
a few more in Grey Lynn. You go to that supermarket.
Oh yeah, right. But that's the weird thing. You go down to Westport.
Yeah.
Not many, brown people. You go down to Invercargill, there are some, but you know what I mean. The Pacific Island communities are spreading through Aotearoa more, but it's still predominantly Pākehā wherever you go.
Yeah.
So that's still
and you don't. And now you made me think about it. Like, even long term, there isn't really Samoan communities in small town New Zealand, is there?
It's growing, bro. It's growing because, like, you can go to places in Hastings where now there's a Tongan community, there's Samoan community, but it changed from 20 years ago. But the thing I keep on saying is that how can Pākehās anywhere get to know more Māori more Polynesian people when there's no Polynesian people? So it was really interesting that when I was down in on the political trip with Kim for the internet party, and we're down in New Plymouth.
Were you a performer, or were you?
No, I was actually I was on the road, and I was.
Oh, were you a candidate?
No, I wasn't a candidate. I was nearly a candidate, but I decided not to.
Yeah.
But the thing I was really, what interested me, because we were able to travel around Aotearoa and get to hear what the views of Aotearoa were.
Yeah.
And there was this one dude that was around in Taranaki, and I was really, really super interested in what he said. He goes, "Hey, listen, white dude," and he was a farmer. And he goes, "What are you going to do for us real New Zealanders, us real Kiwis?" And in my brain, because I had the microphone, and I was like walking around asking people, giving the microphone so they can ask the questions. And in my brain, I was going, are you talking about tangata whenua, like the indigenous people's problems, or are you talking about your... So those are the things that I still see. There's still the mad divides, just even between, people who are 3-year generations down. And just because I say, listen, dude, just because you're born here does never make you indigenous. So that's the thing one of the things that are the issues that people have to go, and I see it all the time.
So kind of wrapping all of that up, you're like, we're not integrated enough. We're not mingling enough. And then you've got, because I've started teaching, because obviously I probably lived in a bubble, was like sort of like kind of creative scene's not like that. Unis generally aren't like that. I see a heap of different nationalities every day at work and stuff. But now you got to add to the mix. And I've thought about this, like, because I was watching this thing on Sunday about, I can't remember, something on TV about a girl who immigrated from England. She's West Indian. She's talking about how there's all the cultures here in Auckland, but unlike back in the UK or back in London, it's not nearly as integrated. I know that they've got their problems here and stuff. Point being, all of this is now we've got Chinese and Indian to factor into the mix as well. It's like, how do you, I'd love to. I hope that Auckland will have kind of figured out how everyone gels together a bit more, because I think it'd be amazing. It could be like, it's not happening at the moment.
One of the issues that I have, brother, and this has been me for the longest. When I was 7, I was able to step my foot off the plane in Samoa and go, oh my gosh, there's our land. That's where I'm from, and everyone speaks Samoan. And then when I came home to New Zealand, I was like, wow, even more I feel for the indigenous peoples.
Yeah.
So, we learn Māori songs at school, and I understand that everyone, has problems, but when you go to Ireland, you go to Canada, you go to Australia, you see all these problems that people are having, the indigenous peoples are having. I go, wow. And so for me, if, like yourself, Lewis, if you said, bro, I'm down with the indigenous peoples, like, and they are the, everyone has problems.
Yeah.
But the same thing is that we're not indigenous. We're just visitors. So we're we don't have the problems that they have. And it's one of the biggest things, the problems that I see again and again and again over the last 20 years, that people go, yeah, I've got my problems, but I don't give a shit about those guys. And that's the problem that I have.
But then I've thought about this as well, because of identity. I've been teaching stuff around identity. And then I've got a wee problem as well in that regard, in that you went and stepped your foot on your homeland, and I assume you could go back and be a resident there. I can't. I can't get a British passport, so I can't. So
I know.
So I'm not.
Bruv,
so,
I understand.
But this isn't really about that, because obviously, being a white, educated male, things are pretty easy and okay for me here. But my point being is more about the identity thing, which I've thought about a lot lately. Is I agree. I'm not tangata whenua, but then I don't actually I don't have a home either, as it stands. I'm in this weird thing where some relatives who I don't know came out on a boat 200 years ago.
Yes.
And that's it. Oh, you might be from Scotland, you might be from England, kind of a thing, you know?
But then you should
We're
know
kind of
your history.
mongrols.
You should go back and follow it, though. You should know.
I would love to.
But do it then, bro.
I think North Scotland or something. I know Dad came out from the UK when he was 13, but I know I can't go back and live there. I can't get a passport because my folks were never married.
Would you? Because the feeling that I felt when I got off the plane, it was like, oh, I'm grounded now. Okay. Yeah. And then I was like going, because I didn't know if Samoan was just a word to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand. I spoke Samoan.
Yeah.
Well, I could understand Samoan. I couldn't really speak it that much.
Yeah.
But until I put my foot back on the land, I go, oh my gosh, okay, there's heaps of us here.
Well, I went to Islington, where my dad's from. Didn't really feel much. Sat in a cafe for a bit, jumped back on the tube. Oh, the look you're giving me now.
No, bro. No. I understand that, my bro. And that's a cool thing.
It's a trippy thing.
But it's a big issue where everyone sidesteps it.
What, identity?
Well, no, just the issue with indigenous problems that we have here. Everyone's like, yo, man, those, and I go, well, come on now. And everyone's like, yeah, but those guys have they get funding all the time. It's like, well, bro, everyone's, being colonized over this way. But what I always try and say is that if it's possible to try and decolonize your mind.
Yeah.
And we're in the South Pacific, buddy. So, and people are like, and I've seen whole crowds get turned off by, listen, North Island, South Island, Stewart Island, it's a Pacific island.
Yeah.
So therefore, don't be, ashamed.
Crowds turned off by what things you've said on the mic.
Just saying, listen, we're on a Pacific island.
Yeah.
If you're born on this island, so therefore now you're a Pacific Islander. Yeah. And so people I'm not a Pacific Islander, mate. Far out, hell no. I'm like, well, okay. So, and the other thing too is what I always I figure out too, bro, is that.
So then, if I was born here, am I a Pacific Islander? I don't know.
But you can relate to being a Pacific Islander.
Yeah,
you know
but I'm saying, that's fine.
It is a Pacific Island.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's not like is it different or is it wrong? It's right. You were born on a Pacific Island.
Yeah.
So the other thing too is that is an interesting, just one for me, Brianna. Hello, this one's just going on this stuff, and how do you feel about the issues of being? But that's just, dude, it's a big problem. And let's move on to something else.
No, it's really interesting. It's really interesting. It is a huge problem, and you're right. You could go on for days and days, and there's so many sides to the debate, and there's so many, decades or hundreds of years of history now, or a couple of hundred, at the most. It's sort of like, it's very hard, isn't it? Systematic. It's long term. As I say, there's heaps of different voices, and
I'm just just be caring and being aware of other people's
when I listen,
situations, and that's the thing. I think with all the community work that we do, regardless of how I feel about tangata whenua issues, is that people are people.
Yeah, you're right.
And I have Pacific Island, what do you call it? Government. Well, there's Pacific, just like on Work Mahi, that we have Pacific Islander groups that have to deal with just Pacific Islanders. We have Māori groups just having to deal with Māori issues. You know what I mean? And, But a lot of the problems that I see is that you can't say, excuse me, kid, you don't fit in any of those categories. You're not even on the radar. And to me, that's bullshit. So, like our youth, all youth are youth. They don't see colour. They just see, hopefully that at some stage someone can give them a hand and a hand up. And that's the thing that I say, hey, even though I have my beliefs and how we should deal with, if you're community based, you give a damn about everyone. So that's
and I think and I'm hoping that everyone's realising that capitalism, after all these decades, is that individual buzz can't work anymore. You're right. It's got to topple a bit and be a collective thing. And the change, I listened to this podcast with Obama. Actually ended up on a podcast, which is a pretty big deal. And they were talking about, why didn't you make all these radical changes when you're in and stuff. And he goes, well, things that stretch back all this time and have this many stakeholders and da-da-da-da-da, it's kind of like, it's like steering a big container ship. You just got to slowly, even though you want to do it like a speedboat, you just got to slowly steer it in the way that you want it to go. So to cap that off, you've been doing some community work in South Auckland, and it's been going well.
Dude, it's and the thing is for me that I do these type of workshops up and down the country.
Yeah.
So we've done them in Invercargill, we've done them in Dunedin, we've done stuff in Wellington, we've done stuff wherever I go. I've done stuff up north, so what is we do stuff? You go and set up some, you set up PA, set up some decks, you set up a mic, basketball, just a bunch of stuff to do each place you go. No, like I do workshops.
Yeah.
And so with my workshops that I do at schools, or workshops that I do with colleges or intermediates or even primaries, I set up my DJ gears and say, listen, this is what I do, show them how to produce a beat, show them how to rap, freestyle, show them how to scratch and DJ, and those are the things that I do with the workshops, because being a muso that wants to keep on promoting, hip-hop music and just music in general, that it's an outlet. And that outlet has been able to once again take me around the world, and it's a really good release, you know what I mean? And it's a positive one, regardless of what type of music you make.
And what sort of age kids?
I've dealt with primary kids, all the way up to university kids, and actually teachers that teach the kids. And so I'm teaching something that I love. And I end up talking about the clothing type of label, and basically saying that wherever you are in your life, it's possible to take on the world. And
have you ended up just spotting some like crazy talent? Like you should keep freestyling, you should keep making music.
It's I would never ever stop someone's creativity. And I said, listen, if you love that, you go hard, because I've seen people at some stage just kill people's love for whatever they were doing, and I was like going, whoa, that was a bit harsh.
How do they do that? Who does that? You'll never be a
Well, your 6-step is not right, and you're not doing that right, and that's not part of breaking, and that's not the proper right way of breaking. I was like, dude. And I've seen some hardcore hip hop dudes or breakers just say, listen, that dance that you're doing is not right. But for me, I'm like, just let the kid dance. Because maybe he might learn through that dance that he's doing. He might see the dance that we're doing and go, oh, cool, man.
If there's anything that doesn't have rules, it's dance.
Yeah, it's like, dude, just get up and just enjoy yourself. And that's the one thing that after, like years and years of it, I just go, hey, whatever level of skills the person has at, good luck, go hard. I hope you rock and kill it, and take on the world and see you on a stage
because it's quite different to the sort of the character, because everyone has a character on stage of like King Kapisi versus Bill the community guy. So do you now do you still like taking on that persona on stage for kind of nighttime gigs and stuff, or is it just
no? I mean, for me, brothers, like I will sing my rap song, and I'll say, this is the way I felt when I wrote this rap song. But then in between the songs, I'm just me. And I just, and people like go, you're very different between your songs and your, I said, but that's just the way how I felt when I wrote that.
But I'm meaning
song.
more now, like, do you find it less desire to go out and do a hardcore King Kapisi show because things change? I
still like rapping. And there's still a lot of people that don't. So one thing that I've learned over the years is that a normal average person has not much love for rap music.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What about younger New Zealanders? It's part of their diet now.
Oh, but they don't like lyrics. They like
radio kind of rap.
They don't like people. Yeah. I mean, but that's just, and I understand that, you know what I mean. And it's just everyone's cup of tea that they like, and they, the different type of strain that they like. But me, I'm a real type of, I like just straight up lyrics. I'm a Careless One dude type of, let's just go and I love the battle. I mean, but also in your album you should also cover love, politics, a family song, being conscious songs, and that's why I always say to rappers is like, dude, please do not spend the whole album in the club, because you should have at least 2 club songs per album, but then also you've got to cover the feelings, the vibes that
you got. I know you're saying you got to cover all the kind of colours and dimensions of where you're coming from. Are you doing? Are you aiming for big shows over summer? Are you trying to do New Year's and all that sort of stuff?
For me, I'm working all the time, bro. So
Yeah.
it was quite interesting. Like in the last maybe 2 years, we actually took New Year's off, and so
Did you manage to relax?
yeah, actually, it was really good. So I really, really enjoyed it. And it was like, for the last 20 years we've been on the road, and on New Year's you're inside that car driving to that place, and just being able to sit at home,
Lie on the couch.
was awesome.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. And I said, hey, this is pretty cool. And because we do gigs regularly through the year, and even though that time is super, super busy, and also there's more cars on the road, there's more people being silly, and there's a more chance of like people hurting themselves. And so not being on the road at that time was bloody awesome as well.
On the couch.
Oh, dude, it was like
Some snacks, some drinks.
we don't get to do that.
Yeah.
And normally we're the party for every New Year's for the last 20 years.
You're in that weird, like, you're working, but you're the party.
Yeah,
So
I
you got
know.
that double, like...
Well, people always like, they're like, what do you do for a living? Oh man, dude, I shout at people. And I shout at people, and I get paid well to shout at people.
Yeah.
And, I'm the party.
They go, are you a racehorse commentator?
Yeah,
Are
Are you one of those boxing type of commentators or what? But, I just happen to be, I think that I'm pretty good at what I do.
Yeah.
And I've learnt to make a career out of it and get paid for it and pay my bills with it.
That's right.
And it still gets me around the
Self-made
world.
too.
Yeah, bro. It's like, I've had help from some incredible people, and, and...
Yeah, but
always
you've stuck
respect-
at it with that work ethic, man. It's to be commended. And now you're doing not now, you started doing all this community stuff long term as well, you say? Give it back, pay it back?
Well, yeah, bruv, and that's all we can do. And I don't want to be one of those artists later on, and because I know some cats, I'd ask them to do something for the community, and they say, oh, no, that's not me. I said, cool, that's your buzz.
Yeah.
But me, we've gone on the opposite side and just
Yeah.
gone, instead of going 100, we're going 95, where, I've got to
It's good.
pull back a bit and save more 20-25% for myself and my family. So
Yeah.
I've been serving the community hard.
That's awesome. I wanted to talk. I was glad we haven't talked about. I was going to talk about your career from beginning to end, but I'm sure you've done that one way or another 100 times before. But I do want to ask you about some of the travel over the years, because you've been to some pretty out of it places, as you say, taking Samoa and hip hop to the world. But what are some of the shows that sort of stick out? Some of the places that you've ended up that sort of stick out. You ended up the Germans flew you over on a government.
Yes.
Grant?
Yes, that was interesting, bro. And there was, and we were in Berlin, and because of the Nazi stuff that had happened over there, I was very, very interested. I said, okay, so what's the buzz? What's the buzz? How does this still work?
Have you ever heard? Don't mention the war.
Oh, dude, no, I didn't know. And we used to watch a program on TV called Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
for
I'm
those
not that
cats.
far off your age, man. Yeah, I remember
So
it.
there's Hogan's Heroes for people who didn't know. There was there was a concentration camp over in somewhere in Germany, and there was these funny characters over there, and then like the big dude.
Yeah.
And he used to say this word, schnell, schnell. And then I walked up to this other dude, and I said, bro, what is schnell, schnell? And he goes, we don't say that word anymore.
Oh, no.
And I said, okay, that's pretty interesting, bro. And I said, so why is that? And he, I'm just a dude that doesn't know. And he goes, because that sort of reminds everyone of the old stuff. And I said, okay, that's pretty interesting. And we were talking about skinheads and all those type of things. And, I guess at that time, like 20 dudes roll across the road on the other side of the road, and they're watching me, and I was going, doesn't feel very comfortable here, bro.
Like German white skinheads.
Yeah. They had their swastika things on their arms, and so I was going, oh yeah. So just being
In 2004.
yeah, it's still there, bro, and it's still there. It's still underlying, and but it was really cool just to be able to meet some of the younger dudes. And he goes, "Oh, that's not us anymore." And I said, "Yeah, I totally understand, my friend." And I said, "But are there any other, still people?" And then those dudes walked across the road. I said, "Well, okay, it's all good."
Because look at Berlin now, eh? It's like, that's so far removed from how Germany used to be. What were you actually brought over there for? So I got that right, eh? That you were funded to go over there as part of some cultural exchange or something?
It was a cultural exchange with Shivers. I can't even remember the group of the people.
The Goethe Institute?
The Goethe Institute.
Yeah.
So the Goethe Institute, they brought some artists this way, and I supported them on their trips while they were here to promote the German language.
Yeah.
In Aotearoa. So we went to schools and we went to German classes and we put on beats,
Really?
and they brought over German rappers and they rapped, and then we got the kids to write German raps, and then they rapped with us. I couldn't understand what they were saying, but it was super cool, you know.
Have you ever heard Seed, that German dancehall reggae artist? I'm not going to sing it because it'll be mock German.
No, good,
Right? It's really good though. From around that era, a bit later on, and then the year before, I'm going in the wrong order, but then the New Zealand, some group in New Zealand funded you to go to a birthday party for New York.
Bro,
that's nuts. So it wasn't even a birthday for hip hop. It was a birthday party for New York. Who should we send to New York? Should we send Winnie, or should we send?
It was very interesting. It was a very interesting time, bro. And we were like,
that's so cool.
It was very, very cool. And we did the gig that comes to mind is one we did with Otis and Mark.
Oh, right.
They were over there and we all performed. And there was another group with Maka and Minna. Can't remember what that group was called, but it was an amazing time, bro. And
so it was the idea to showcase a bit of New Zealand culture to this New York party. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like with Trade New Zealand.
Yeah.
So, you know, we were over there and we were a few of the imports that were going over that way. So
they're trying to sell King Kapisi CDs rather than like butter or lamb.
Well, bruv, you know, we are a commodity, and we are a New Zealand, thing that can be traded. So, and music too, bruv. And just being able to have a party over there and still play New Zealand music at that party.
And Glastonbury, that's pretty important.
Glastonbury was pretty cool.
Who was on the year you played? Who was the big artists?
I think Beyonce was playing that time.
Oh yeah, that's pretty big.
Else? I really enjoyed Kool and the Gang. Kool and the Gang was dope for me.
Yeah.
Like we could either go see Beyonce or Kool and the Gang.
Yeah.
And I chose Kool and the Gang.
Yeah.
And I was like, we can see Beyonce anytime. Let's go see
the
Kool
real
and the Gang.
Kool and the Gang, not just Kool and some gang.
No, bro. It was awesome, bro.
Yeah.
And they sounded just like their records. I was like, wow. It was
so dope.
That's
like at one of the last big day outs, because I'd been in Aussie for years, but I was back. It's definitely one of the last ones. And there was some huge band on the main stage, and then I realised Damn Native were playing on this little side stage, the band.
Yeah.
And I was 10 years out of seeing that, and I went and saw that, and I was like, I had a better time than everyone at that main stage, because they were amazing.
Cool. Awesome, bro. Awesome.
Yeah, the sideshow.
Yeah.
What other shows, man? What other big? Just a couple more kind of big international moments where you've gone, this is nuts. In the company of others, or a certain place of the world, or
got a funny U2 story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on the plane coming back from Australia.
I'm not a huge
New Zealand.
fan, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan either. You know, and they were playing with Kanye at the Ericsson Stadium, and I was at the Air New Zealand sort of lounge, and I was making my beats, and this dude walked past. I was like, shit, that's Bono. And I didn't want to seem like a dude that just go, hey bro, can you like? So I just sat there, kept on making my beats. Then the drummer walked past, and then the guitarist walked past. I was like, far out. Then he come up to me and he goes, dude, what are you up to? And I said,
Bono did?
Yeah, Bono. He goes, bro. And I said, I'm just making some beats.
What are you up to? Yeah.
And I said, oh, bro. And then we found out that he was signed to Warner's and I was signed to Warner's.
Yeah.
So we get to off the plane, and he goes, bro, I'd really like you to come to the gig. I was like, okay, yeah, wicked. I don't know how you are. How are you going to get in contact with me? And so me and my wife were down in Wellington.
Yeah.
And then got a phone call. And the PA said, listen, Bono, the boys would really like to see you. And I was like going,
crazy.
Who's the boys? And so, and then they were like, oh, Bono and the band would really like to see you. So it was a long story, bro, trippy story, bro.
No, it's a good story. Keep going.
So I said to my wife, I said, hey, Bono just, requested me to go to, she goes, do you think we should go? She goes, hey, if Bono, requests you to go to the gig,
it's Bono.
Go. Yeah, so I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we jumped on the plane, got to Auckland, started going to the gig, got multiple calls. Are you close? I was like, no, we're nearly there. So go to gate D. And we're there. And then we got to gate D. There was like 20 dudes waiting for us. I was like going, oh shit, is this all right, man? Because there's like 20 people waiting. There was like a lot of security guys. So we went to this top top sort of tent. And
You must have really made a good impression on him.
Dude, it was pretty trippy, bro. So we were up at this top 10 and all the, the record people were there. And I was like, well, that's a bit wanky. And I was like, and then this other dude just walked up and he goes, hey, it's King Kapisi here. And I was like, yep. And he goes, oh, yeah, Bono would like to see you. And I was like,
in front of all these people?
Yeah, in front of all these people. I was like, oh, okay. So I was feeling a bit, oh, sure, it is pretty out of it. So I walked down to this other room. And because we'd played down in this other room before, we played Ericsson Stadium before, I knew what the rooms were. And so we're down in the room with about 30 people. Because the last one had about 150, 200 people. And we went down to this 30 people. So
you're going through the importance zones.
Yeah, it was really weird, bro.
Yeah.
And then, so we're down in this room for 30 people. And I knew some of the people were there. And I was like, oh, okay, sitting there, just having a drink. And then another person, hey, it's King Kapisi here. And I was going, yeah, that's me. And so then we went to a room where there was just two people, me, my wife, and another person. And
who was the other person?
Zane Lowe's mom. It was cool because I was, hey, Mrs. Lowe, I've been to your house back in the day. I know your son. We used to rap together back in the day. And then Bono came around the corner and he goes to Mrs. Lowe. He goes, Mrs. Lowe, here's like a present for your for your grandson. And I was like, cool. And he goes, King, hey, how you, bro? I was like, dude, this is very out of it. Okay, cool. Yeah, really good, bro. And he goes, oh man, I just thought I could come back and meet you and blah blah blah. And then in my mind I was going, bro, I really like your music, but I really want to meet Kanye. I love your music.
Did you get to meet Kanye?
Oh no, I didn't get to meet Kanye. And then we got led on to this little platform where we were watching, and then it was just
And so you've never seen him again?
No.
So he just collects people he thinks are interesting in each city.
Well, because we were on the same record label. He was I said, dude, I'm on Warner's, and he goes, I'm on Warner's too. I was like, oh, okay, I know.
And so he obviously knows Zane. So Mrs. Lowe gets VIP as well.
I think everyone knows Zane these days, but in the music.
Do you want to know about that show? I got comped, and I went out and saw Kanye, and then I saw about two of U2's songs. And then I went home because they're really important to a lot of people, but it just wasn't. I didn't, not my thing to stay for a whole concert of.
I stayed for the whole thing. I just thought I'd just show some love and say, dude, thank you very much.
Your situation is completely different to mine. If I had been sitting with Mrs. Lowe and Bono, I would have stayed and then some. I just thought there was a funny story I got about the same show, because you know what? I actually thought that's pretty rude of me when I left, because someone gave me a ticket and everything. Might have just been the way I was feeling on the night, and I've said that to people when they've given me a look like. So anyway, I'm in good company here.
It's not your thing, bro. It's not your thing.
That's
you know
right,
what I mean?
that's
It's
right,
like I liked it. I really liked it.
Very good pub band. So, toy collecting.
Toy collecting.
Let's finish off with that. Not a lot of people may know, but you are a sci-fi freak from way back. We didn't even touch on religion, which I wanted to ask about, but apparently you were odd wee Samoan boy in that you would watch Star Trek instead of going to church. Did I read? Is that quote right?
Well, most of my family, I think every Pacific Island family, either their family are very religious, and my family is religious as well. But when I was growing up, I wanted to just check it out, and so I've been to, to most churches.
Yeah.
Catholic, local paki, which I don't know what the English version for that is. Presbyterian.
Yeah.
And just after a while, I love the music side of things.
Yeah.
I love the unification and feeling good that everyone's there. But then also I see the side of the pastor and the church getting all the money, where the individual family is giving their money to the church, and then them suffering. So I was like, well, this is not really good. How come the pastor's kids are always fat, and how come they have a nice house, and how come they, because obviously if the kids are fat, then that means they're eating well. And so that was one of the reasons why I made a decision. I said, well, I'm sure God doesn't ask for money.
Plus, isn't Christianity a Western religion that kind of colonized the islands? It's a form of
colonization.
Colonization,
and it's got nothing to do.
I was trying to think of another word for colonization, but it's colonization.
Well, the thing is for me, brother, is that like if Jesus is from Africa, well, back in the day we had our own gods.
Yeah.
So I say, well, what makes your God better than my gods?
Yeah.
And so I'm being a Samoan and a person that believes in our own culture before I'd believe in another culture, personally myself. especially here in Aotearoa too, we have exactly the same gods, Tangaroa, and
is what you're saying less radical in the Pacific Island community now than it was in the late 90s when you started to sort of publicly address that in songs and stuff?
There's a
Were you shunned for a while back early then?
Shunned, still shunned now,
Really?
but it's
Not
like,
not all throughout, just in some.
well, it's still frowned upon.
Yeah.
Still really frowned upon. But there is a Samoan Facebook atheist page.
Yeah.
And, a lot of the guys that have said, hey, listen, I grew up and that's the way I feel. And, your music was the catalyst for part of the catalyst for me feeling that way.
Yeah.
But I was just, like I said, I'm outspoken.
Yeah.
I think what I think, and I don't push my views on other people.
Yeah.
I just do me. And I've always been a type of a person where this is just my particular, way I look at things. You don't have to agree with me, but just respect what I think, and I respect what you think.
Yeah, and then everyone be capable of independent thought and thinking what you think, and then don't judge other people's thoughts. That sounds like a good system.
Yeah, correct. I mean, that's the way I feel. It's like, I'm a free thinking person.
Yeah.
And I had to go out and study and find out about religions before I made my decision. I said, well, that's cool for you cats, and that might be your buzz over there. But how many millions of people have been killed under the name of religion, and so good on you for that. And now you guys are good. After that, you guys have had all this bloodshed, and now I'm supposed to believe in your thing. And it's a weird one, but I just go, that's other people's buzz, but it's not my buzz, and that's not my thing.
So we started this with aliens and toys and Star Trek. So you were really into sci-fi from a young age, and then
Star Wars, bro. Star Wars,
Star Trek, and then when you there's another quote I read that something like you had to play with all your Palagi mates' toys.
Yes.
And so when you got a bit older and had some scratch, you started buying your own.
Yeah, shout out to Philip Godfrey. My bro, I remember him letting me borrow his Green Lantern and his Firestorm and his Superman, his Batman, and we just my parents weren't the toy buying type of parents. I don't know if we had money or we didn't have money, but we look forward to every Thursday to just go do our shopping, and that was the way that we were brought up. But I never had no toys, and so when I did start making some money, now my house looks like a toy shop.
Yeah. So what are some of the the holy grails in the collection?
My holy grails are a origami ito with a cub, which his name is Daigoro, and I brought it in...
I don't even know what that is.
It's
anime?
It's a lone wolf and cub. It's a Japanese character.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing book series, and it's something that I dig. And I found it in Japan.
Yeah.
And on my last day when I was in one of my trips to Japan, I found it at a toy shop, and the dude couldn't and the guy couldn't speak English.
Yeah.
And I had to ring up my wife and I said, babe, I don't know how much this is going to cost. And she goes, what is it? Yeah. What is it? And she knew how much I love this character because these books I've been reading it. Yeah. And she goes, just buy it. And so I guess he couldn't speak it. So I just put one on my credit card. Yeah. It could have been whatever.
You don't even know to this day.
Well, we looked at it, how much it costs now. Yeah. It's around 2,500.
Oh, you mean if you were to sell it now?
Yeah, no. Well, if you're going to buy one.
Well, you got it. That's awesome. But you take everything out of the box, though. You're not like one of those. My 1984 Millennium Falcon is on the shelf. Has never been touched.
We listened to this dude at our store, and he said, "No, take them out and play with them." But yeah, I think for me, toys are to be looked at and played with.
Yeah,
That's me
totally.
Personally. And the grail that I have is this Millennium Falcon. But it's
got the original one.
No, but it's got an Xbox in it. And I gave this dude, took him like a year and a half, maybe 2 years to create. But he ended up...
You gave him a Millennium Falcon with no Xbox in it?
With no Xbox in it. And then he gave it back.
Right.
And, then he put an Xbox in it.
Yeah.
So
did you turn one of the original 80s Millennium Falcons into it?
It wasn't an original one, bro. It was just one of those sort of, and I've looked online and I've only... I think there's only like five of them in the world.
And then you got me geeking out reading about toys just because of something you said in one of the things I read. Like, you reckon that a lot of the stuff being made these days isn't that flash, like a lot of the newer toys that you buy from the warehouse and stuff. I think you were saying that.
Well, I used to, being a real toy geek, and walk down every time I went to the warehouse. I'd go straight to the toy aisle, and that was the first place I'd visit.
Yeah.
But I haven't been here for a while, and even just like a couple of weeks ago, I went down and I was like, the level of craft making or toy making has gone down. It's not as dope as what it used to be.
Yeah. I wonder what that is, eh? Who knows? It's all plastic.
Mass marketing.
Mind you, the Japanese stuff I'd imagine would be pretty amazingly built. Hey, to close off, by the way, it's been 80 minutes, believe it or not.
Wow!
Yeah, people always say that. That is a long time.
Long time.
I even kept the 5 minutes in at the beginning where I think we're just all over the place. But there's something, I don't know where it was, whether it was like a night out where I ended up having a drink with you or up at base or somewhere. But a while ago, you had a list for me that I found fascinating of who you think are the kind of the greatest of New Zealand's MCs through history.
Shivers. I mean, I'd like to hear this.
Would you mind? I can't remember who you said. Okay, I'll tell you. I think you said MC Mana.
Oh, these are the guys that are freestylers.
I think you said Taj Mahal's son. Yeah,
I'm Star is a beast.
You're on there.
A beast.
So that's 3 of you. Who are the 2 other freestylers as well?
Mariko is probably my MC's MC.
Yeah.
That I would say that if you put him, compared with his bars that he's got, bro. And for Samoan hip hop also, he's one of my favourite. I'd put him there. Yeah. And Kaz, I put Kaz the field style because he was the first one ever to rap in Samoan.
Yeah.
And then he took normal dialogue in Samoan and then made it abstract, but in Samoan.
What's he doing these days? He's still making music, I know that.
Yeah, he's still working. Yeah. He's still working, still making beats.
But he's in Auckland now as well,
Yeah, he's a Strathmorean, living in Auckland.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing his thing.
It seems we're ending on Kaz, but hey man, it's been a pleasure. You seem real well. And it's nice reading about the community stuff and hearing about it today.
I'm good. Just tired. And, just like there's work to do. # work to do.
Yeah.
And, just as long as we're out there, bro, and we're out here supporting our friends, being able to come and have a good conversation, and and these podcasts, bruv, I love what you're doing, bro, and it's dope. It's like watch me do a podcast.
You got to listen to your wife's one.
Oh yes, I haven't had a chance. To listen
people
to
really liked it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Listen in the car. Cheers, bro.
I will.
Okay.